Jarius here, and welcome to another episode of Draw with Jarius, episode 12, because we're counting. And, well, for those of you not in the know, to basically make it quick, this is this series where I sit down and record in front of the microphone and talk about anything and everything that is on the mind. And there's a lot to talk about today. Um, Firstly, of course, we have something playing in the background as we're talking, of course. And for this one, we have none other than a fan art that I'm doing of CHIZURU Mizuhara. And I figured, since the anime is on its fourth season, I figured let's put some focus into this because to think that this anime is getting four seasons is, really commendable with how its premise is literally renting girlfriends and it's um funny to think about, to see the comments where people are like, how is this getting four seasons? Or like, with how the that one chapter with uh Kazuya and Chizuru, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could get a refund off of like the time that I've spent with this anime, and it's just really funny to see that. And I myself, I feel that, you know, um, it feels like a bit of a shot in the foot with these the characters and what they're doing to themselves, really, like because there's already so much to talk about with this anime, so it does a great job at keeping you hooked for sure. Um, do I feel bored with it? Definitely not. Um, it does a great job at raising the anticipation of Chizuru and Kazuya. Will they genuinely get together? And it's funny to see the memes even like that one meme where Kazuya is like, "You'll always be my rental girlfriend," and Chizuru is just married to someone else, and so it's funny to think about. It's like if that actually happens, like if that's the actual ending, then I can't wait to see what the fan base is gonna react to that. Is a hilarious thing to think about, but it's quite the 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 brain scrambler too, because I'm just thinking what is going on in the mangaka's head for this plot, or like how does he think this is going to end? How will he write the ending? And I'm I definitely do make honest attempts to stay at anime only. I don't like to spoil with manga reading. Although I have done it with animes that are, over, and there's some chapters that they didn't talk about, with my favorite anime and Taki and how that's over. So I looked over some of those chapters that the anime didn't adapt. But anyway, like with Rent a Girlfriend, it's funny how it started with small beginnings, with Kazuya just looking to get a rental girlfriend to like give himself some downtime after, mommy. Although we'll talk about her in a bit too. Um but yeah, it's like, with um how it started and how it's going, it's been quite the journey. And it's funny to say that too, because it's like the build up between them is has been slow, and it's been there. It's there, yeah. But it's definitely taking its time with that, and it's got me wondering too, like, how has it been going on for this long? Like, I wonder how many seasons they're gonna push this. It's like, um the other day, My Hero Academia season 7 was released, and I'm just, now it's hitting me, and it's like, maybe this anime will go for 7 seasons too. Because it's like, well, um, there's so much, like, to go on with, and it's like, how are they gonna keep the audience, like, fixed on this? Because I mean, it's like, how long can they drag this out? And so it's just like, keeping me in the hypes of things, because with the introduction of Minnie last season, it definitely added a layer of interest with her, because Minnie is quite the wing woman, and a bubbly character, and a lovely character too. And added a nice change of things to um, kind of add a layer of interest, while Chizuru and Kazi are still figuring things out with how their relationship is. It's like, um, the last episode that I watched of Rent a Girlfriend is the one where she's mommy and Chizuru have bumped into each other, and now they're about to dine into the cafe. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, I do want to iterate that I am a big fan of dub, and uh, don't much watch the sub for a variety of reasons, and firstly, it's that I don't have to multitask with what they're saying and what's going on. I prefer to see what's going on without having to know what they're saying. And it's like, it gets pretty distracting in a way to multitask, and so I figured, I prefer you know, nothing against sub, of course. I did watch my favorite anime for starters in the sub, because I was like, I love it so much, so I couldn't wait for the dub. And yeah, it turned out to just be the how's it say, the oh my goodness, what's the word I'm thinking about, like, the uh like, the experience. Yes, the experience was different, but still great in both ways. So it's like, um testing different flavors of that are both great yet still different, and so that is what happens there. It's just that dub. It's so that I don't have to multitask in what they're saying. So there's that. And what I was saying about mommy, it's like, she also adds a layer of interest too, in that keeps you on your feet in terms of like what is she gonna do? Because she has all the power to expose what's really going on between her, or what's going on between Chizuru and Kazuya with, the fake girlfriend thing. And it's really um, quite the thin ice situation here because if I remember correctly, the last conversation that Chizuru and Mami had, Mami was very um, pissed off about the fact that they're in a lie, living a lie with their relationship, and she was pretty much fed up with it. And so that was the rundown of her thoughts about Chizuru and Kazuya, and so it's quite the um, hook with how things are going to play out with that whole situation of basically coming out and telling the truth. And um, Kazuya came to that point where it's like, okay, then let's make the lie into the truth. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, finally, like he's actually going to make intentions to make it clear that he wants Chizuru. And so it's like at this point, Chizuru knows that, and so it's like, okay, so how long are they going to keep this up with them lying to each other essentially with their feelings, or lying to themselves? Yes, that's the better way of saying it, I think. Like lying to themselves about how they feel about each other, and to where it's like, okay, so um like at this point, I already want to see them get together and have like, be in their relationship already. The real one, the truth one, and so that it doesn't feel so fake. Because something too that is really sad to think about is that Chizuru's grandma passed away, believing that Chizuru and Kazuya are in a relationship, and she died believing a lie, and so that is really sad to think about. And it's like, wow, this is really messed up. Like, um, but at the same time, too, it does. Um, I do have some understanding because it's like, I mean, how do you tell your grandma that your relationship is built on a lie? And so it's like, she couldn't bring herself to do that, and that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, you know, maybe it's like best that you guys get honest with your feelings and just, ask the question and just confess, you know? Like, at this point, there is no going back when you really think about it. Like, um, I think the concept of telling them that it's a lie is kind of beyond that point, because then it's like, well, this is really messed up now. Like not only are you have you lied to your grandma at this point, but now you've lied to your friends, your peers, and just everybody. And so that's where I can have an understanding of mommy in this situation, because everybody believes that, their relationship is genuine. And it turns out that mommy is the first one out of everyone who hasn't known the truth till now, um, that she's the first to really see through the the veil, and she knows what's really going on. And so that's where it makes it quite dangerous too, because um it, okay, so here's the funny thing too, to see it like people being all for mommy and how like she's best girl, and um her archetype is the toxic, manipulative girlfriend archetype, and is like when she has those moments where she uh has dead eyes, so to speak, or like it reminds me. It's funny. It's funny how it reminds me like this. It 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 brings me back to Sayori from Doki Doki Literature Club. When um she had her um hanging out moment. It's an inside joke there. But basically, it's like she is depressed. Is I'm feeling the vibe here with her, with how like she's jealous that Kazuya is moving on from her, and so mommy is in trying to sabotage that, and so that's where her archetype is like the jealous one, and like the one that is basically the antagonist of the four when you think about it, because she's trying to break through the lies and expose, essentially. And it's like really weird how um that she hasn't come out with the truth and told everybody what's really going on, because it's like, if is that not her character, like that's where I'm getting the vibe from. Like she's the toxic one, and basically has the situation in her hand. It's like she's the one that's in control in this aspect, because I mean, what she says can make or break the situation. So, yeah, there's that. But anyway, with all that rent a girlfriend rant aside, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Talk about this series, because uh, this is one of the series that I got into when I first got into anime, and so to see that the show has gone on for this long is um nostalgic in a way because of that. So it's nice. It's very nice. Um, but anyway, rant aside, what has been going on with me? Let's think about this. So firstly, I've been getting into improving on editing videos. With the motion with it, and making things more um, deliberate or like engagement food, and basically trying to figure out editing and put it into a way that is more digestible for others, and essentially improving at ways that I can better um, better put into place for those of you watching that make it easier for you guys, and that is definitely my intention, like my approach to YouTube and videos is to, talk to you guys like how I would approach myself, and like my attention span, as ever, is very short and not at all long, and so I do want to value y'all's time and value y'all's attention. So, that being said, I do want to make honest efforts to um, get better at being intentional and like um, better presenting the video. And so that's where I've put time aside to get better at editing and understand what it is that uh, like getting better understanding of the capabilities of it, because there is a lot to dive into, and watching the other art YouTubers, and it's like, wow, like there's a whole kinds of world out there that is still um, for me to learn and understand. And so that's where it's the intention has come to get better at it. Um, the editing software that I use is the layout. I'm absolutely loving. Excuse me. I'm absolutely loving its DaVinci Resolve, and layout is, it makes sense to me, and it's in a format that I can actually understand. Um, I did give Final Cut a go, and um, in understanding it, but it's like, you know, um, Final Cut would freeze up on me and crash, and so that wasn't fun. Um, so I decided to give another software a try, which is the one that I'm using, and it wasn't as overwhelming as Final Cut. It's its approach is um workable, and it's been a baby steps. It's been baby steps, and so it's been quite the creative flow of things and how to approach editing, and with movement and such, like um in After Effects, that's where it would be the motion graphics, you know um but in DaVinci Resolve it has that too. And so that said, the last family get together that I had, like my cousin, he was showing his works with the motion graphics and in After Effects, and it's like wow, like it's mind-boggling to think like there's such a world of editing, and it's like you could see the all kinds of like the layers and like the like those color differences with the how to say it, like the just the layers of it. And so it's definitely makes sense to approach it one step at a time so that uh, I'm not having to take on so much at once and then I just drop everything out at once. Like multitasking is a trait that is not my strong suit, definitely. I'm more in the lines of like sit down and hone in on one specific thing, get good on that thing, then uh, tackle another thing, and then divvy up my focus on that thing, and then wash, rinse, repeat. And my mom, for example, she is the best multitasker I know, and she's able to just like drive to talk on the phone and eat at the same time and still perform all said tasks at like without fail. And so it's like, man, like how does she do this? How do people do this? It's like such a blessing to think about when uh, you're able to do that. And so it's like, you know, when I would try to do that, I would just stumble with whatever it was that I'm doing. And it's really funny to think about like how different my mom is and from me that is in that regard because she's such a multitasker. Um, but me, I'm more of a um, single task focus, and then we'll uh, dive into something else, kind of thing. With how the approach to learning is. But anyway, um, aside from the editing um, aspect of things, um, what else has been going on with me? Oh, yeah, I have been taking a great fun and a great consistency to bike riding and touching grass, so to speak. um, because I do love to bike ride and basically uh have something to get my mind off drawing so that I avoid burnout. And because that is a very real thing, and it's um, a very real situation that is I encounter a lot, and so it makes it to where bike riding is very nice. And also, like makes it great too because there are a lot of trails where I'm living, and so it just makes it for a great scenery and a motivational scenery too. Because, um, of course, I've said this before, and um, I'll say it again. Like, I would love to make what I do a full time job and a full time like approach in living because I do love the area that I live in, and it's the people. They're definitely my kind of people with their mindsets and all that, like pushing ourselves to the limit and living the dreams, And so that's where it's like uh, pushing ourselves to um, make the dreams a reality, And so it's beyond worth it to see the beauty and work for it, you know. Um, so there's that. It's like still surreal to think about like um doing YouTube and being in front of the microphone and just talking in general. Uh, I'm more of the reserved or like the uh, mute kind of archetype with the traits that I'm having because it's like um, I have that habit of being slow and uh, communication is something that is cause for more intention with me and with uh, improving. You know, 5 years ago, even just that, it's like it's been quite the then and now situation. You know, what I wanted to do um, back then was just focus in on what's in front of me. With school and just figuring out what it is that I wanted to do. It's asking myself, what is it that I want to achieve and my dream? And so now um, after the journey of figuring that out, it's like, yeah, like our dream is, um, my dream is to draw and fulfill and to have a joy in it and basically have fun with it and um, have a joy in that with others. And as ever, my OC that I made it clear that it's like it's a funny approach to um, with her design. So I love going out and swimming, and so with her character, my OC, I have a bikini design for her, and she has a cross on her butt, a tattoo, a cross tattoo on her butt, and it's to illustrate that characteristic that I'm Christian, and that my relationship with Jesus is very personal and it's very strong. And so um, another thing with drawing is, of course, draw people to God and basically document the journey of drawing and you know give thanks to where thanks is due. And so it's I have a lot envisioned and a lot of dreams that I um, am working to see fulfilled, and it's like, ooh, like to see it slowly uh, come together and to see it like come to pass bit by bit, like getting the consistent muscle going and um, being more um, intentional with drawing and being able to draw more and do more is like, ooh, like we're getting better at it, and so that's always a great joy to see because it would back when I first started, it would take me all day to finish a drawing, like genuinely, and then now it's um, taking a great improvement there, and now it's like the um, the situation here is now just improving at our uh, attention span, quality over quantity, and that's been the goal for right now. And so, do let me know if you've watched on for this long. That if you can help me here, because I'm always open for help. Like, what have you guys done to improve at your attention span? And like, what are some exercises that I could do to get better at like drawing for longer and keeping myself in the focus? Because I do am open to advice as ever. Any and all is appreciated. Um, I do definitely don't want to fall into that trap where it's like, oh, I'm the best I could be, like, or like seeing drawing as easy, so to speak. Like, I, I don't want any room for arrogance or like bravado, and all that. Like, no, no, thank you. Um, I have no desire for any of that. Because I see that common theme, with like, oh, look at me, I can draw, like all the great stuff. And it's like, bro, like, no wonder it's so easy for you. Like, you've done it for so long, and so, um, that isn't to say, of course, that showing the great improvements of where we've been is bad because I mean, not by any means. It's great to see where we've started versus where we are now. It's uh, calls for a great inspiration because from here we're just gonna keep ever growing. You know, what I'm saying is to just not let that overgrowing turn into like arrogance or like um, a ceiling, so to speak. because then it's like that turns into uh, a hinder, essentially. Because then it's like you have no um, drive to improve. And definitely don't want to get into that rut, you know? Um, Because something else that makes me really joyful to see is like uh, actually having an understanding of like getting better at painting. Because like the old arts that I would do, it's like I was like really uh struggling to understand lighting and shading and all that. And now it's calling for greater improvement so that I can better understand and put more intention behind it as ever. It's like I'm so grateful that like the past problems that I've had are now uh, minimal, and it's like taking on the next level of challenges, which are like the anatomy and proportion, especially. Um, so it's like now at this point, how can I better improve at proportion and anatomy and hands too, definitely. It's like basically the details, the detailing parts of drawing is now where it's um, calls for focus on improving. Because uh, back when I first started, more than anything, it was like getting a feel for drawing in general, like understanding like the basic shapes of it and like the overall feel of it. Because um, in drawing there is so much to uh, understand and work on, like with perspective, uh, shading, anatomy, um, backgrounds, um, hair, and line art. And it's like, it all piles up really quickly. And so that's where it's like, when I first started, I was like, let me just start small with this. Because uh, then from there, I can just build up to it. You know, it's funny to think about in a beautiful way as well. Like, um, I see it as like this kind of analogy, okay? And it's just as I was talking about bike riding earlier, and so when you're learning to ride a bike, firstly, it's important to understand how to ride it, right? Like how you sit on the bike, and then uh, like um how to um how to say it, how to go from the startup when you're bike riding to like the cycling aspect of it, because like once you go from the startup of bicycling, then it's the cycling part of it, and then it's like the cycling part of it is essentially where the rest is history, so to speak. And so the cycling aspect of things, um, for me is like that I'm, this is just my opinion, of course, but like the cycling aspect of things in art is the drawing aspect of it, like understanding the uh the drawing um approach of it. So like the shapes, the like the like the cell shading of it, and like the overall uh common themes of it, and like uh the harmony of art as well, because like there is a consistent theme in whatever it is that we draw. Like, no matter where you look, there is a shape in everything, you know? And so that's where it's like makes sense to have an understanding of drawing itself, so that um, once we have an basic understanding of drawing, then we can slowly incorporate more things into it, you know, like with the perspective and the shading, um, and the gesture and so on. And I say gesture like with the last thing, but like that's actually the first thing. That is, I'm so thankful that um, the book that I came across in the very beginning, that when I started, it was Michael Hampton's Design and Invention. Like his book, the very first chapter that he talks about before like anatomy and the body is gesture. And in it, he talks about it and how that it's the uh, building ground for what comes later. It's like um, when you build a house, it's like you see the finished product, but what goes into that house is the like the blueprints of it, or like the foundation of it, because in drawing there is a foundation of it, and it's like once you understand and have a, obviously not the best kind of understanding, but just like um the understanding that makes sense to you, is like, then once we get to that point, then we can slowly um add on to other things, and so that's where it makes it like such a joyful place to be with, uh, in that sense, because it's like seeing that growth, like where past challenges you would have are now a thing of the past, you know? And I obviously am not saying all that to, boast or any of that stuff. Like, it's just um, being really grateful to um, being at a improving side of things and basically seeing the hard work finally pay off, Like, when I was learning to ride a bike, like, I'm not exaggerating this, you guys. Like, it took me 3 months to just get off from the bike and just cycle to begin with. And basically, once I understood how to uh, sit off from the bike, the rest was just uh, improving at cycling in general. And so, um, as ever, if you're familiar with bike riding, it's not simply uh, only cycling itself. It's also like the maneuvering with it, So like how to turn with a bike, uh, especially on that, it's like very confusing. Like how do you like you gotta turn left to go right, and you gotta turn right to go left. Like, are you kidding me? That's crazy. And then also like the um the tilting of the bike whenever you're on the curve. It's um like the view of it is so skewed, and it's like so scary. Um so it's like calls for um just trusting the process. It's uh like how much of it's so funny to think about how like uh the analogy of riding a bike it's attributes to drawing, because it's like it's scary to like draw something that looks horrible and like like hands, for instance, they're always a nightmare to draw with how complex and the approach to how to draw them. It's very daunting and scary, even. Like, at least for me, like, there's so many ways to approach drawing the hands, and it's always a calling to improve at it, you know? Uh, but that's basically my call there. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this video, our little talk, and whilst we see CHIZURU and fan art going. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.